very short one because I've been asked a lot of questions about Uganda Airlines and when we're flying to the United States. So I thought I should just mention a few things. Oh, you can hear me? Okay, so should I repeat that? Okay. Mine is a short one, just to mention a few things. I've been asked a lot of questions about when Uganda Airlines is coming to the USA. So, the government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Works and Transport, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the mission of Uganda in DC. We were exposed with the interest in opening up to the USA an air route. The good news is Uganda and USA have signed a bilateral agreement about 26 years ago. What this means is an agreement between two countries that allows a lot of things from trade to transport and a lot more. And this will be operationalized soon. So what is happening is we have an open sky agreement with the USA that both US and Ugandan carriers can commence flights into the US and into Uganda. And we have a meeting coming up that has been organized through the Uganda mission with the FAA, which is the Federal Aviation Authority, to be able to discuss possibilities of Uganda Airlines flying to the US. We are currently working for a no objection because Uganda wrote to the US, and once we have that document, then we can start officially to work on the route and what is expected of us in terms of passenger and cargo services. Uganda Airlines has plans to also sign code share and interline agreements with US carriers for both cargo and passenger services. And once that is done, then we can start to sell. We do understand that a lot of Ugandans want to be able to come home on a direct flight. We appreciate and honor the diaspora in the US, and we want to see how we can connect you back home. And we're hoping that at the end of this year, we'll be able to sign these agreements. And we're really looking forward to that. Uganda Airlines will be launching a route of flights to Mumbai, India, on the October 7th. And we'll be expanding in Africa to Lagos on October the 19th. Thank you. Mine was a very short one.
Could you tell us how many aircraft you have and where do you go right now?
Okay, we have 6 aircraft. We have 4 Sierra J's, 900 Bombardier, and these fly within Africa. We fly to Nairobi, Mombasa. We fly to Kilimanjaro, Dar es Salaam, Zanzibar. And we fly to Juba, Mogadishu, Kinshasa, and Johannesburg. That is within Africa. Then internationally, we fly using the Airbus. We have 2, A330neo, and they fly to Dubai. And then we will be launching the route to Mumbai, India, and as well as Lagos using the Airbus.
I'm sure some of you saw that routine by that comedian who, when we launched Uganda Airlines, and people went to the airport, and the minister asked the CEO of Uganda Airlines, but where is Uganda Airlines? And the man said, you see Kenya Airways? Yes, well, you see, look underneath. That. Okay.
No.
We now have A320s, you say?
A330.
A320, 2 of them?
Yes.
So now Kenya Airways has to look under Uganda Airlines
Absolutely.
to find them. Absolutely. Does anybody have one quick question? Yes, one quick question.
question. I'm into export from Uganda. I have used air transport, cargo, from Uganda east to here, using a different airline. How can you help people who bring goods to the US using your services?
Like I mentioned, we have a bilateral services agreement, which is a BASA, that was signed between Uganda and the USA in 26 years ago. That BASA covers both passenger and cargo. So what the mission, maybe Anne or Madame, okay, Anne can talk about it. What the mission is doing for us here is to negotiate a meeting between us and FAA, where we will be able to discuss operationalizing that agreement. Then we can start the process to operate here. It involves a lot of things, including the airport back home. There are certain processes and infrastructure they have to put in place. But on our part as an airline, we're already working ahead of time. Anne can explain more.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. Honorable ministers, members of parliament here, all our guests, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. My name is Anne Babinaga. I'm the commercial diplomat at the mission in DC. And one of the things that I have to work on is to make sure that we conclude and revitalize and conclude the bilateral air service agreement that was signed between Uganda and the USA by Honorable Nasser Sira. It was signed in Atlanta 26 years ago, and unfortunately it has been lying idle because we did not have a national carrier revived at the time. When the national carrier was revived, Ministry of Transport decided and chose to request a designation of the airline between of the airspace between Uganda and the USA. That letter came through diplomatic channels through the embassy. It was then sent to the Department of Transport and the Federal Aviation Authority, and it is being reviewed. We have got good news because the new ambassador to the USA paid a courtesy visit to the embassy recently, actually last week, before commencing his duties in Uganda. And one of the issues that were discussed was that we need to fast track the designation of Uganda Airlines to the USA. This bilateral air service agreement is an open sky agreement. It means that even the US airliners, once the designation has been granted, will be able to come to Uganda. So airlines like United, American Airlines, many, many others that wish to come to Uganda, once the airspace is opened, they will come in both passengers and also cargo airliners. So we have a good opportunity that is going to be unveiled very soon, after 26 years. And for the first time in our history, there's a likelihood, a real likelihood, that Uganda Airlines and many other carriers in Uganda will be able to vie the airspaces between Uganda and the USA to come and trade with us, passengers and cargo. But we also have a good opportunity under that agreement for Uganda Airlines to have code share agreements. I think some of you came on the KLM, which has got a code share agreement with United Airlines, and sometimes those issues of code sharing and going through third-party countries, they become very, very difficult, especially when you're changing with transporting cargo. When you have a cargo freighter that comes directly here from Uganda or from the US directly to Uganda, it will really give us a good opportunity. And that's what we're working very hard on. And the Ministry of Transport has pronounced itself that they really want that route opened. And we're working very closely with Uganda Airlines to make sure that that happens. In the world, we have manufacturers of aeroplanes. We have the French with the Airbus, the Canadians with Bombardier, and the USA is known for producing aeroplanes through Seattle, and that's where the Boeing manufacturing facility is. Government of Uganda has had several visits to that facility, and they are reviewing and checking it out. And there's even another meeting that is supposed to be taking place to see how we can take advantage of the manufacturing facility in Seattle. What happens after those discussions have taken place is purely a government commercial decision, but the embassy is here to facilitate that, and we have been facilitating those discussions with the airline. The promise to the diaspora is that under commercial diplomacy, the business plan that we have is to make sure that the airspaces and the sea links between Mombasa and the USA are opened, and we have very good cooperation frameworks that are going to allow that to happen. COVID became a bit of a challenge. I have been here for almost 2 years, but this work is now being fast-tracked. And with the team that we have and the new ambassador, we are committing to make sure that airspaces and the sea links are opened, and we have direct shipping lines as well as direct passenger and cargo flights from both countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, next. We're going to have Ms. Grace Sanyu. Most people have said, you know, the conversations that we're having here are so high level, and maybe we don't understand, or maybe we think there's a way in which we may not be able to connect. But this is one of the entrepreneurs that is in our diaspora, and we wanted to showcase you know, people who are maybe starting out, or people who have what we would consider a small enterprise. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Ms. Grace Sanyu. She's the proprietor of apparel clothing. One of the jumpers that she's wearing is something that she made herself. So we are very excited to have her up here, and I wish that we could all give her our attention for just maybe next minute or so, and encourage her to keep on doing what she's doing. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Grace. I'm from Boston, and I'm a 16-year-old entrepreneur. So I started my business this summer. I got the idea because I want to go to a very good college, and this was my idea for a passion project. I plan to major in something that has to do with business, specifically maybe finance. So my plan was to make my own business. And so what I do is I make clothing, and this is one of my pieces that I made, and it'll be released soon. And for my business, I run pre-orders, and that basically means that I have to get a minimum amount of quantity of orders, and then I send them out to the manufacturer for them to produce them, and then I ship them out to all my customers. I think it's very important that girls do entrepreneurship, because many entrepreneurs are mostly men, especially in the clothing brand game, and I think it's very important that young girls like me and nobody is afraid to start, even if it's a big risk. Thank you for your time.
Let her give the website first before we get some questions in.
This sweatshirt particular is $59.99. Yeah.
And don't forget to add the tip as well. So.
And all shipping is free, so that is also a plus. And my website is called mainapparel.co.
Could you spell it, please?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There you go. This is the point to get your picture. Take the pictures out. Thank you, thank you. We appreciate you, Sanyu. Another round of applause, please. So like Ms. Sanyu said, we have to encourage female entrepreneurship. And one of our next guests. Oh, she Miss Sanyu, do you have any product right now? Okay, so it's going to be pre-order. You get on the website and you can, or maybe let her answer herself.
I have samples, but what I explained before, my brand is running pre-orders, so I get the samples and then I market the samples, and then after I market the samples, I have to get a minimum quantity of the orders, and then I send them out to the manufacturer to bring them out. 30.
All right, I'll do that coordination for you, for free. No commission. All right. In the same vein, we are continuing with the next group. Is a very eccentric type of operation. They're into stem cell research, and they're going to tell you more, introduce themselves, and tell you more what they do. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Christine. Can you all hear me? Yes, I'm Christine Mayunga, Mrs. Mayunga. I'm from Dynas Global. I'm the director of Dynas Global USA. Here, as you can see, we've come a couple of people. We work together. So our company is located here in Dallas, Texas. That is the headquarters for this company. So before I say anything, I just want to, I would like them to just introduce themselves. So in case you meet in this on the, there, on the, what's called? Yeah, you meet with them, you can just know them by their names. All right.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Fred Joseph Mayunga. I'm co-director for Dynas Global here in America.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Lara. I'm a medical practitioner. I came in from Florida, and I would like to talk about Dynas rosenta. It's a phytoplacenta cell that we have produced, and we know that will help our body to rejuvenate because it works by increasing the stem cells in our bodies. The stem cell is the generic cell that helps to heal all the different cells of our body. And that is why the Dynas rosenta is excellent. When you use it, we don't have to wait until we are sick, but when there is illness, it helps our body to heal it faster. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We are going to go ahead and, were you? Okay.
Yeah, my name is Saleh Abdul, and I'm here member of the Dallas Dynas Global Office.
My name is Chioma. I'm an accountant, and I'm a distributor of Dynas Global.
My name is Franchada Chisanga, and I'm a distributor for Dynas Global. So please, I encourage you to come and see us in regards to restoring those sick cells.
My name is Josephine, and Global Dynas, and just want to encourage you. You understand what stem cell is in your body. You understand the cell is your health, right? Once your cell is healthy, you are healthy. And so there is a saying that we deal boldly, we deal with confidence because every one of us have a personal testimony of what this cell, this product has done, right? Please see us afterwards. We give you the details. We're excited, waiting for you, okay?
Yes, so these are some of our team members that have used the product. So they decided to come here, diverse from different countries. I know some of us from the African countries. So we are here, they just came so that next you meet them out there, you can ask them. They have testimonies about this product. So in short, this product comes from, our manufacturer is in Malaysia. So we are FDA approved. So I brought this here so you can see. Yes, we are FDA, that is. Yes, so we, as the gentleman that was here talking about his product, that is FDA approved, is a long process. So for us to be here, to have this product all the way from Malaysia to here, the reason why, and to enlighten you Ugandans, because you're part of us, we are Africans. I don't want anyone from Uganda to just die without knowing the stem cells. There's human stem cells, but these are phytoplacenta stem cells. Most of you know about cells. When you look into human cells and animal differences, the cell of a plant has a chloroplast, the chlorophyll, and the cell wall, but every cell literally is the same. So how this works is it comes through your body under the tongue sublingually. So you put it is a powder form. This here has 15 sachets. So you cut it, put it under the sublingual glands here. So this here, they are tissues. These tissues, they are connected to every organ in your body. So when you put it under the tongue, it goes straight to the blood. Within 15 minutes, it's already in the blood and straight to the organs. So whatever organ it is that is sick, is gonna start replacing the sick cells. How it's working, maybe you're wondering how it's working. You came from a cell. The cell, a sperm, you came from a sperm. That sperm is a cell. So from the cell, from the sperm, it goes and catches the egg. I'm just giving you 1 second biology. So from the egg, now it forms a zygote. Those zygote and that is a tissue. This zygote and the embryo, they are tissues. So after the tissues, what comes next is organ, right? From the organ, now the other thing that forms is blood. So all those four things, the tissue, the blood, the organs, they all fall sick, right? So there are people with HIV, that is blood. There are people with anemia, that is blood. All this sickness from the blood, you become sick. So others is organs. Some of you here have diabetes. I was pre-diabetic. So those are organs. So the eye, the whatever, liver, all those things are organs. So they're affected. And also they are tissues. Some have swollen legs. Like me, I had a broken leg. So my tissues, my tendons, all those, they were affected. So the only way, I know you've never looked at it this way, is to replace cells. So let's fix the cells and everything else will come back to life. You understand? I just brought you quick in and out. So let's fix the cells. Use these rosenta stem cells under the tongue straight. But if you have money, you also have human stem cells. But they're very expensive. So why suffer there while God has now blessed us with these phytoplacenta stem cells that will come into your body? It takes time, maybe 3 to 6 months. Believe you me, I'm one of those. I was pre-diabetic. I had cholesterol, of which most of you, even you don't know if you have cholesterol until you go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. I found myself with cholesterol. So I was pre-diabetic, cholesterol, and sciatic nerve pain. Literally, I was becoming handicapped. I used to walk like this. But look at me now. I can do everything. All this here, they are testimonies, and it restores even any kind of sickness, whether it's glaucoma, whatever, it's supposed to be replaced by sick cells. So come and see us, please, on our table there, on the vendor's table. Our company is called Diaspora Global, and also I will give you more details, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, you have a question? Okay, so yeah, that's a good question. That means you're paying attention. So yeah, so the ingredients in this, I'm just gonna mention a few. The ingredients that are here, they are specific plants, not all plants that are gonna help you. You can say, oh, I eat plants. You've been eating those plants and you're sick until today, right? And some of you, you've been told eat vegetables, but you're sick until today. It's not the vegetables that you eat and swallow. It's the the specific cells, that specific cells from different plants, roots and leaves that come through the tissues. It's not the ones that are being digested. So the main ingredients here, we have a Bulgaria rose placenta. That Bulgaria rose helps with the skin, the epidermal. And we have NMN. Some of us here, we have kids with autism. Some have cerebral palsy, some dementia. So the NMN will come boost your NAD, NAD. The NAD is the one that makes the brain function well. So some people, the NADs is not good. So this NMN that is in this product is really good. When you go here, it's going to be subscribed by the doctor. But here, it's in here, you know. If you don't know about NMN, come and see us over there. We have brown seaweed extract and lotus gem extract, bitter melon extract, and ashwagandha. Ashwagandha, let me talk about this quickly and out. Ashwagandha root. Most of us here, they are married, you have kids. Some women here, they don't like being touched. They say, don't touch me, I am tired. And some men here, you know what's going on. That thing, you know, is already sleeping. So please, let's do this. Yeah. When this ashwagandha root extract is good with the libido. So let's save marriages here. You might think you don't need it, but you need it. Your marriage will be saved when you use this product here. It has the ashwagandha root. So, and some of you men here, you blame your women that they cannot have children. And it's your sperm that is low. When you have low sperm count, there's no way the sperms will swim and catch the egg. So you need ashwagandha is in here. It's going to add more cells into your small cells in the sperm and make it strong and swim. So you are looking for solutions there, or the doctor to help me. While God has blessed us with natural products here, that is going to have you have children, okay? And also, some men here, you complain your woman is very bitter, all the time shouting, yelling. It's because they're what's called, it's because they're, what's called, hormones, very good. The hormones are imbalanced. Everything is here, okay? So we have solution for each and everyone here. So some people even, they cannot see me. They're asking who's standing there. This here, you have, with your eyes, maybe your eye duct, you have cataract. Solution is here. So let's see you there at my table. Yeah. God bless you.
Thank you
and
so
go
much.
out there as Ugandans, spread the word. Dynasty Global. Dynasty Global, we deal with confidence. See ya.
Another round of applause for Dynasty. Yeah, we got more than we bargained for this time. This was wonderful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, let us limit the questions, and we'll be taking maybe 1 or 2 questions per presenter. That vendor table is going to be all the way towards the vendor area. All right, can I get your attention, please? Next, we are going to speak to Stephanie. She is the Vice President of Development for Bulamu Healthcare in Uganda. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I am so privileged to be here today. Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm going to try to keep it to 5 minutes. He was kind enough not to tell you my last name. It's Dziedzic. That's D-Z-I-E, D-Z-I-C. If it looks wrong, it's right. When you go to the eye doctor, they're going to ask you to read the chart, and you're going to say, read the chart? I know that girl. She spoke at a conference I was just at. I am here. I'm going to try to do something a little bit unique because I know we're having technical challenges. I see you all have your phones, so if you can, please go online to our website because I want you to follow along with me on a very important video that's going to tell you how Bulamu Healthcare is helping to save and enhance the lives of Ugandans. Can we all agree that saving and enhancing the lives of Ugandans is an important thing to pay attention to and put our resources behind? So please go to Bulamu bulamuhealthcare.org, bulamuhealthcare.org, and I'm going to give you a minute to do that, and I'm going to put my old lady reading glasses on because I can't see anything. What I heard, I'm sorry, go ahead, what? Oh, okay, well that's awkward. All right, we can work around that. What I heard this morning by Madam President was to put your money where it's worth it. And I heard Cody say to change the world through micro business concepts, right? We're gonna change the world. I invite you today to invest in Bulamu because Bulamu is investing in the people of Uganda through their health care. So we can't go online and see this video. It's a short video, so I'm gonna play it over the microphone, and I hope this works. Pray for me.
Imagine needing surgery and having to wait 20 years. Imagine having no one to turn to when you need help the most. Then imagine you meet Bulamu Healthcare. Since 2016, Bulamu Healthcare and our partner health facilities have provided life-changing care in Uganda. This includes performing more than 10,000 surgeries at no cost to the patients. The value these procedures bring to each patient's life is priceless. But Bulamu Healthcare is able to perform them for about $200 per patient by working with local health leaders and teams. Bulamu Healthcare is also leading the fight against infant mortality, the #1 cause of death in Uganda. Every year, Bulamu Healthcare helps thousands of mothers safely deliver their babies. Bulamu Healthcare also provides Helping Babies Breathe training to more than 70 maternity facilities that deliver more than 50,000 newborns per year. This training reduces newborn mortality by 47%. Currently, Bulamu Healthcare partners with more than 350 health facilities to serve more than 4 million patient visits per year. And while our impact has been significant, with your help, we can do more, and we need to do more. Help a baby take her first breaths. End the wait for a surgery patient in need.
So what you see there is a picture of a woman who waited literally 23 years for goiter removal surgery.
Donate or partner with us to continue the life-saving.
So true or false? True or false? Whoops. Sorry. In order to support trade and investment in Uganda, you need a healthy workforce. True? True. Would you agree that investing in safer births for women and children and lowering the infant mortality rate is worth investing in? Yes or no? Yes. I'm here as a nonprofit organization with a different kind of opportunity for investment. It's philanthropic investment. The ROI on this, the return on investment, is priceless. When you support Bulamu Healthcare, you're giving back directly to people in Uganda. So we are privileged to have an agreement in place and a partnership with the Ministry of Health of Uganda. We work in 12 districts in and around Kampala and in the rural areas. We provide 7 to 10 surgery camps a year in partnership with the Surgeons Association of Uganda and various other health partners in Uganda. We don't build hospitals. We don't bring in American surgeons or students. We use and we partner with the people of Uganda, and we bring them resources and training and help so that they can help their people. We're investing in the people so that they can help their people. There's so much more I want to say, but I know I'm pressed for time, so what I'm going to do in the interest of time is say I'm going to be here throughout the conference, throughout the week. I have lots of ways for you to access our website. I have QR code cards in my pocket, so when you get to internet access, you can just click it. what I would leave you with is this thought. If we could raise $5,000 today by donating on Bulamu's website, you could fund a maternity facility in Uganda for a year and provide safer births and mama kits and access to surgical deliveries so that we could bring down maternal mortality rates. And in the areas where we're doing this now, Bulamu's helping to bring the infant mortality rate down to 0. We're providing neonatal care units. We're providing resources that keep babies in their communities and don't separate them from their families and communities because we know they don't do well. If you believe it's important to invest in the people of Uganda so that you have a robust workforce, please consider supporting Bulamu Healthcare. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was Bulamu Healthcare. Round of applause again for Bulamu Healthcare. Thank you so much. Okay, next we are going to have a keynote speech. This is going to be Ms. Peace Ayebaziwe Kabunga, and she is the Managing Director, Executive Director of Housing Finance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you all, ladies and gentlemen, old protocol observed. Greetings from Uganda, and specifically Housing Finance Bank. And I'm just going to talk about a few things that we deliver to Ugandans in the diaspora. I heard the lady who was talking about the benefits of the products that she was selling. And she said, you can do this, men, women, but I can tell you, if you don't have money, you can take that for a very long time, but nothing will change. And the men know that. Whenever there is no money in the pocket, you can take that herb 1,000 times, but nothing will happen. So I'm here to talk about the financial medicine, the financial services, and the CVP, the proposition that we have as Housing Finance Bank. Before I do that, let me briefly talk about Housing Finance Bank. Housing Finance Bank is 100% indigenous. It's an indigenous bank owned by Ugandans, 3 institutional investors. That is the government of Uganda with 49.2%, NSSF, National Social Security Fund, and we are over 56 years old in Uganda. We have a wide network of branches, agents, ATMs in the country, and so we are accessible online and digitally, and also those who like physical presence. We have agents, we have branches. So I just want to talk about 3 things that we do for Ugandans in the diaspora. Outside the transactional services of, you have an account, you deposit money, you transact. I'll talk about 3 key things. Number 1 is housing. As Housing Finance Bank, our main specialty is housing. And we support Ugandans in the diaspora to invest in housing for their own occupation, for rent, for business, those who are into the commercial buildings. We support Ugandans to do that. And we have done quite a number of projects for Ugandans in the diaspora and even those Ugandans back home. And we have a team of experts. I'm happy to see some of our partners in the room. We have some lawyers that we work with, and so you're sure that when you're transacting, you're dealing with genuine titles, everything is checked. by our partners that we work with. We give you up to about 20 years, 25 years, within which you can pay back the installments or the amount of money. And we give you very many options. Like I've mentioned, those who are building from scratch, those who are completing, even those who have completed, and you want equity out of that property, we can still support you. That is one. Number two that I want to talk about is another source of, income, passive income. We do treasury bills, treasury bonds. And I have good news for you, Ugandans in the diaspora. You don't need to come home to sign the agreements, to sign the paperwork. We have an online portal. And that online portal, you just get in. You can even, there's a calculator. You can work out and see, if I invest, let's say, 20 million Uganda shillings, how much will I get in terms of coupon, the interest that is paid on, after 6 months. So you can see all the options, and then you choose to invest that money. As long as you have an account in Housing Finance Bank, you can open the CSD account using that portal, and you don't have to have anyone to advise you on where to put the money. You simply go to the website, get in there, the system, work out using that calculator, and then you're able to make the right decision and invest in treasury bonds and bills, whatever you're interested in. The number 3 area that I want to talk about is the partnerships. I know that there are people here who, for example, struggle with investments back home. In terms of rental collections, we have partners who assist with property management. And so you pay them, of course, you pay them some money, and they'll collect the rent, they'll take care of the property, and all they do is just remit your money to your account wherever you need it. The other is the developers. We have quite a number of partners in the housing space. We have national housing, like I mentioned. NSSF is also marketing or is into property development. And we have quite a number of others. I think there are some, if you go to the exhibition area, you will see a number of those property developers that we deal with. Buganda Land Board, for those who have a land that is not titled, we work with the Uganda Land Board to assist you get the titles, and then you can use the titles to borrow money and, develop some of these properties that you have back home. So aside of, the normal commercial banking business, assisting in business, assisting in agriculture, those are the 3 main areas that I wanted to talk about as Ugandans in the diaspora, where Housing Finance Bank can assist you to invest and take care of your money and ensure that you preserve your wealth and also grow the wealth in those 3 areas. Thank you very much.
Thank you. In the interest of time, we'll take maybe, how many questions do we have? Oh yeah, that's fine. Let me bring you the mic.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank you for being very available for the day.
determine the interest rates. We also look at the interest rates at which, for example, the government borrows money from the public. So, for example, the 20-year bond at the moment, 10%, we have another which is at 17.5%.
Okay,
So
that's ridiculous. Okay.
yes. So there are so many factors that really determine the interest rates. At the moment, interest rates vary between 16% to about 21% per annum.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, and again, this is feedback. So, some of us who've owned houses here in the diaspora, I'll tell you, if I'm buying a house, depending on where you're buying it anyways, and of course, yes, the years depend. You know, there's a time when the interest rates are high, there's a time when the interest rates are low. But I will tell you, it can never go to like 18% unless your credit is so bad. So I think you're cutting yourselves thin in the diaspora space here. Because it's crazy for me to invest, let's say, $200,000 in building a house in Uganda, and you're charging me 16% on that amount. So that is really, really high. Now, and I remember in one of those meetings, you guys said you were going to, it's negotiable. So when you say it's negotiable, what are the standards? And we had questions of, what do you actually look at for a person to invest with you guys? Like here, they will check your credit score. You know, they will have a track of that. So how much of my time, you need the microphone? Okay, sir. All right, so, I mean, what are the standards? I think you just need to streamline some of these things to the diaspora so that people are not having deeper questions at the back of their minds and having skepticism to try and even invest in this. So make it as smooth as you can, be transparent with how the processes work, and that's just like my feedback from us to you guys. But thank you so much for your services to us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's a bit unfair at this particular point to throw so much at one bank when we have 3 banks here. I think it's only equitable.
I don't think you meant
I
to
think
say
it's
that.
only right that all 3 banks answer the same question. So let me suggest, Honorable Chairman, to continue, and when the time comes, we shall put the banks up there, and we shall hold their feet to the fire.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Wilson. Oh, and round of applause again for housing. Yeah, thank you so much. And the lady who asked, those were, great questions, but unfortunately due to time, would you mind to introduce yourself? So that
That's all you needed to hear, baby. But I was just saying, I'm so sorry, sir. It's in the afternoon, and some of us need some naps. But my name's Brenda DeMars. I live in Pennsylvania, and yes, that's it.
all right. Thank you so much. Somebody was asking, so maybe they wanted to contact you for, for business. All right, next, in the interest of time, really, I hope we can limit the questions to maybe 1 or 2. I am calling on Mr. Craig Pollington. He's a cattle breeder and a business consultant. He's been to Uganda more times than most of us have, and he's been doing this for quite a bit. So let's give him a round of applause and give him a few minutes to say thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, greetings from you who have traveled from Uganda and the Ugandans that are here. Actually, I feel a little bit like a diaspora myself. I've been coming to Uganda for 16 years. After 65 trips, I think I can say that I feel part of the community. And on my very first trip, just a bit of history, we heard about Uganda. And I came in originally to build and create a teaching dairy farm for the PAG in Mbala, Uganda. And we wanted to give pastors updated technologies and ways to be able to take that to their communities and their churches and make a difference there. But being a cattle keeper for, now it's been myself 52 years here in the U.S., I have always, when I get to a place, and this is my first trip to Uganda, started to look around and understand what the genetics were. So I wasn't only designing and building a dairy farm, but I was also looking at, wow, how can we make a difference? And so I know because of time I'm going to be brief, but on my very first trip, going back to that, I also met a man who I respected, and he's passed now, the late Colonel Ochura from Gulu. He came and stayed with me a week, and I learned a lot about Uganda at that time. That was the beginning, and after many trips creating that dairy farm, because I had to go back and forth, I ended up realizing that we really could make a difference. So I worked with some very well-known companies, and in fact, one is represented here today, Transova, and the director is going to speak briefly with you. His name is P.J. Budler. He's the international director for Transova, one of the best companies in the world for technologies. Anyways, through trials and through different herds in the country, working with the public sector and with the private sector, we've been able to get results of 40 to 60 liters per day on some cows, and after we've upgraded those. And then on the beef side, we've been able to increase production by 6 times. And I've led different groups that have come in from Nagrik and from different places, and I just sent the letter of invitation to Minister, the Honorable Bright Ramarama, who has been here with me and has traveled throughout the U.S., and he's bringing with him, we have 14 Ugandan leaders now that are involved in this tour that I'm going to lead. So in short, I'm able to work with the private sector as well as the public sector, but my main goal is to see Uganda be blessed and to move ahead in the cattle industry. And I know that being a cattle producer, it's been interesting for me. I've also worked in Kenya to find out that it doesn't matter where you were born, what tribe or race of people you are, cattle keepers are the same. I remember talking to some cattle breeders there in Kenya at a place, and
Yo TV channels app kateli big and better. Anti app nyamwemu otuke munsi y'okunyumirwa. Selecting Yo TV channels or streaming a live radio net TV. Oba Kibanda Express katandike butandisi nga bwonyumirwe bina Uganda. Ate ku Bolingo Extra supporting a music wa Uganda ne comedy. Kyokanga ku muto abana bakunyumirwanga n'okuyiga olwakatuni owo.
Hello, my name is Anthony Chituka, Managing Director of Equity Bank Uganda. The bank will be back in the flesh, physically, at UNAA between 1st and 4th.
Diaspora TV, your #1 global network. Every day, over 15 million men are transforming Africa.
We get a lot of flack in the media, but the agriculturalists and the producers of food they're the superheroes of our time. It's about 2% of our population that feed 100% of our population. And my mission in life is to do just that, is to preserve this idea of producing food, and in our case, animal protein through beef and dairy cattle. And then we want to make these animals more profitable so that the producers can be more prosperous, and that their communities can prosper and people can thrive, and human flourishing can be at the top of our agenda. One thing I've noticed all over the world is the countries that the United Nations deems the happiest countries. They've got United Nations as an index for everything. So the happiest countries in the world, when they list them from 1st to 10th every year, there are 3 very, very common threads that run through those countries. And this bears very true to agriculture too. The first one of those is that they free up the market. That means that it's a free market. The citizens of the country decide the cost of goods and the costs of services. A great idea, and I know that this is how Uganda operates as a free market economy. The second part is they free up energy. So whatever energy sources your country is using, or your area is using, or your business is using, you free that up and you maximize it, and that creates happy, healthy people who live for a long time and learn more and see more. And the third thing they do is they liberate women. And this is so essential because it makes no sense for a country to only liberate half of its population when the other half is going to raise 100% of the next population. The countries that have truly liberated women within the workspace and within the economy end up being the happiest and the flourishing countries. The best environmentalists in the world are agriculturalists. Us as farmers and ranchers around the world, we're the ones that actually care about our environment. And what I've realized traveling around the world is the very best way to fix the environment is to make people as wealthy as quick as possible, because wealthy people care about the environment. People who aren't wealthy are caring about where to sleep, what to eat, and who to sleep with. We have people who have some form of wealth have a way a better advantage in terms of even having the ability to care about the environment. And how do we make people wealthier quick as possible? We free up markets, we free up energy, and we liberate women. The last thing I want to leave you with, and we've got Craig representing us in Uganda, so I'm in good hands there. He can talk about product and services all day long. But what I like about this conference is the way in which we penetrate these markets in the best possible way is when two countries are working together like this, the Diaspora in the US and the Ugandans that are still in Uganda, is firstly, we do it at a government level. And this is so important for opening up protocols and writing laws and trade agreements when the two governments work together. The second part is you let the private sector work together. So buyers and sellers and the traders, you get them together and you let them work together. The third part, and I think this is a part that I think is definitely worth mentioning, is get the universities working together. These universities have got a permanence about them. They're not going anywhere. What they would love to do from a US standpoint, and I'm sure from the Uganda standpoint too, is trade, some research, to get some students on exchange, to do some tests together. And that's what keeps these initiatives going, is the permanence of these institutions, the educational institutions. And the fourth thing is you've got to get the media involved, because we can do a lot of amazing things, but if no one knows about it, it's like winking at a pretty girl in the dark. She's never going to know that you winked at her. So from my perspective, thank you again for having me to speak here today, and let's work together at getting this rich inherited industry, livestock industry in Uganda, and let's let it move forward with technology, utilizing the incredible breeds that you already have there, with some breeds that can add some milk and beef traits, and let's make people more prosperous by making their animals more productive. Thank you so much for having me.
And I apologize. In the interest of time, we're not going to take any questions. However, I have all their contact information, and we'll be able to connect with them and maybe do some Zoom calls coming up. Thank you again. A round of applause for the Kato guys. You know, in the meetings we were calling them the Kato people. So, all right, thank you so much. Okay, moving right along. Post Bank, are we ready? Yes, Mr. Julius Keketo. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll stand on the protocol that has been observed since morning. And I would like to thank the diaspora community who have stood with Post Bank for the last decade or so. We've been working very well together, and we don't take that for granted. And we'll always work to see how we can add value and support you in the right way and your investments back at home. Post Bank, in brief, is government-owned, 58 branches all over the country to supplement the digital channels.
Yo TV channels app kateli big and better. Anti app nyamwemu otuke munsi y'okunyumirwa. Selecting Yo TV channels or streaming a live radio net. Uganda Express katandike butandisi nga bwonyumirwe binna Uganda. Ate ku Bolingo Extra supporting a music wa Abana bakunyumirwanga n'okuyiga olw'akatuni ow'omulembe abaako ate ng'ayigiriza. Downloading app ya Yo TV channels leero.
I think 12%. Managing Director of Equity Bank Uganda. And I'm excited to announce that Equity some of the SMEs borrow at 10%. So that there is a lot that we are doing in that space. But coming back to the diaspora here, how can we support your investments? One of the things we've done is that we've rolled out what we call a wallet. the future of banking is really technology, and not just the old traditional banks, brick and mortar we're used to. And that wallet technology can enable you send money to the last mile customer. It works like mobile money. If you go into Google Play Store, you'll find something called Wendy. It's a very new innovation by Postbank, and we've tried to leave it independent. We don't attach so much Postbank onto it because it can work with any bank, it can work with any telecom company, as long as you have a national ID. USSD code is *229#. Takes you half a minute to register, and you can send money right to your village, deepest village you can imagine, anywhere in Uganda, because we intend to roll out agents across the entire country. So that will enable you send money to Uganda, right to your village, right to the last person. You don't need a middle person who can access the bank and come to the bank. And we believe that's very important for sending remittances back home. We introduced, we facilitate treasury bills and bonds. If you're interested in saving and you have money that you'll put to use later on, maybe a couple of years down the road, and the rates are very good. You'll get rates as high as 13 and so on if you invest in bonds, unit trust, and bills, treasury bills. Those are very good instruments that you can save with. And we also started our mortgage for land acquisition, construction, and maybe if you're acquiring a house. And that was because of demand from the prior sessions that we've had. The prior years, there's been demand that Postbank needs to start offering diaspora community. And we work with a number of partners in that space to facilitate real estate acquisition. I don't have my presentation here. I would have displayed a lot of them. And of course, we also sell insurance products, and those are good savings products, but also add life insurance to them, as we have a bank assurance team. And they are very good savings solutions. You come up with a plan. Normally, if you have a target amount of money you're looking for, but it also comes with maybe health, life, insurance benefits. And last but not least is the agriculture financing, which I've mentioned. I think there in that space we are very active. I had the vanilla discussion in the morning, and then we had the coffee discussion. We are very, very, very active in the coffee space. We facilitate a lot of that. And if you're interested in agribusiness or you have investments back home in that space, I think you'd be talking to the right partner. Thank you very much for listening to me. And I would like to hand over to the MC.
Thank you so much. Again, I'm sorry. In the interest of time, please, if you have any questions, just watch where he's going to sit and you can ask him some questions. Okay, next I'm going to bring up Mr. Tony Mugisha. He's from Eaton Capital in Uganda, and he has some interesting things that he'd like to tell us about. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know it's been a long afternoon, and I'll try to as well summarize. First and foremost, I want to thank the Trade and Investment Forum for giving us this opportunity to be able to be partners this year as well. I thought today I should be able to share something as a person who has been here for the second time and addressing the team in the diaspora. It's amazing that we have the banks here that are giving us all these investment options, which is fantastic. But I've also noticed that we are not looking at financial planning holistically, because creating the investments is as good as actually protecting the investments. And I'm glad that MD from Postbank mentioned something about life insurance. Because in over the last 10 years as financial advisors in 8 African markets, working with close to 200 families, we've tried to find out what are those families doing right that we are not doing right. By that, I mean as a Ugandan, I want to ask, I've been asking that question, what are those families doing right that we are not doing right? And I'll be honest with you, and I've driven down to how they are doing their financial planning. So with all the things that we are sharing in the next 2 or 3 days, you'll notice that there's a lot of focus on the savings and the investment. Little is talked about in terms of coverage. And by coverage, what do you mean by coverage? We are looking at things like critical illness. Most of you here are blessed to be in an amazing place like the US where you have fantastic solutions. Things like critical illness, permanent disability, life insurance, long-term care. Those challenges are not only challenges of America today, but they're also going to be challenges for Africa tomorrow. And people in the diaspora, I believe, as most of you plan to transition back home or maybe have part of your retirement back home, the question you need to ask yourself is, what plans do you have? And it's good for us to do a honest check to say, okay, fine, as individuals or as business owners, I've had very many amazing stories today from the team in Vanilla to the tech team that people are doing amazing things. But how about your individual financial planning? When's the last time you sat down your CPA, your financial advisor, your legal team, and maybe your bankers into a single meeting to look at your plan holistically? Or when's the last time you did an investment audit for your investment? Or when's the last time you looked at your coverage, your life insurance, your critical coverage plan? Are they still relevant? I think as I summarize and to make sure that I give you something to think about, as we think about the savings and the investment, let's also give the same attention to the coverage, because if we don't do much about the coverage, we are going to find everything that we've toiled saving and investing going down the drain. So my encouragement today is, at least for this first year, or this year, take the initiative to sit down with your financial advisor, legal team, bankers, to make sure that you have a holistic plan. That's what brings me here today, because if you're able to do it for 200 families in 8 markets, we too as well can support you. If you're not able to do that, Aton Capital should be able to help you to put a structure in place and to support you or work with you, with your professionals, to make sure that you get a holistic plan. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the forum.
Thank you, Tony. Tony Mugisha with Eaton Capital. And, life insurance is becoming, how do I put this? Life insurance is becoming very important. It's always been important, but I think there's been a revived interest in making sure that you protect your assets and protect your investment. Actually, Mr. Derek Timer, I know we don't have time, but if you could just stand up and that's the main man in Boston. Round of applause for the life insurance people. Thank you very much. Okay, moving right along. We are going to have Equity Bank. And I hope you're ready for the questions. We have Equity Bank, Mr. Anthony Stuka. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for my brother. As you can see, we look very alike. My dad was in the US sometime. I'm going to check the DNA testing in Kampala. No, I love Richard, so good afternoon, everybody. On a very serious note, we are here to discuss serious things. I want to thank UNAA and the organization for putting this event together. Also, there's an audience on Diaspora TV, so I think that's recognize that as well. I mean, technology has failed us today, so I'll just speak off the cuff really about what has happened since we were last here, because Equity Bank, I mean, we've been supporting UNAA for some time, but of course COVID and we couldn't travel and so on, it was online. So I'll talk about what is different since about 2019, 2020 in the banking space especially, and in the investment space, because that is what the diaspora wants to hear and understand. Are there opportunities? How can we participate? I also want to, of course, pay homage to my other banking colleagues, Julius from Postbank and Peace from Housing Finance, because each of these banks, each of us kind of do the same thing but differently. Some banks focus mainly on housing, others focus mainly on agriculture, some banks focus on everything. And Equity tries to bridge the gap and focus on everything, from micro right through to global corporate. So an SME, a small micro business, a farmer, the diaspora specifically, and your investment plans, your multinational companies, your global companies, we bank them all. And since we were last here physically, the bank has grown significantly. I think now we're part of a group whose asset value is upwards of $14 billion. In terms of how much we can lend to a single ticket, we can do upwards of $500 million without syndication. So if you have projects of that nature, talk to us. If you want to finance, if you are partnering at that level. But I also lend as low as 500,000 Uganda shillings. So we try to do that as well. In terms of where we think diaspora should be investing, because there are opportunities, and I'm going to speak about a pet peeve I have. I've listened, I've been around a few years, and I've noticed that the investors in Uganda are not Ugandans per se. And it kind of slightly upsets me. I'm wondering, why would somebody leave a village in East Asia or deep in East Asia to come and invest in a country in the middle of Africa? They're seeing something which we who are on the ground don't seem to see. Now, the diaspora who have been exposed to the best practices, the best technology, and if the issue is capital, the banks, we have money. The issue isn't capital. So why don't you come and do what they are doing? Your argument will be, oh, they have better interest rates, and I had Brenda's question. But Brenda, let me challenge you and ask you, what are the best kind of returns you get in this environment? 8, 10%? That is really high. Give me a rate. 4, 5, 10. In Uganda, your returns are 100%, 200%. Anybody who imports anything in Uganda, you bring in from any location and ask, including your taxes, and you say, I land it at, for argument's sake, $30. What price do you think I sell it at? $100, standard. That is 300% profit. She does exactly the same business. So the issue isn't really about cost of funds. It is, cost of funds is the cost of investment. Question is, what is the return? And that is what they are seeing that we are not. We're focusing on it's too expensive to invest. But I'm trying to tell you, the returns are multiple. They are multiple, so they see it. Their advantage sometimes is they have even cheaper financing. So for them, their returns are a bigger multiple. And that is what I'm trying to encourage diasporans to do. So invest in agriculture, invest in health, invest in education. We know the proverbial story about the people who went to see a village where people weren't wearing shoes. And somebody went there and said, they're too poor, they can't afford shoes. Somebody just went there and said, that's a market for selling shoes. So it's about perspective. So when I spend time with the diaspora and my team, so I want to talk about the products. The products you will see, the brochures are available. All products are available. Construction loans, agriculture. The products, all the banks have the products. What we as bankers are here to do is to convince you to stop just focusing on the exchange, on the interest rate. Think about the returns you can make, because the needs are there. And that is where money is made. If there's no need, there's no opportunity. Somebody once said there's money to be made when there's blood on the streets. So you look for the opportunity. I can tell you, and I'm sure Moses Beruhanga, I'll send you my invoice after this, the opportunity is there. Agriculture, you cannot go wrong. Education, what do Ugandans love most? They don't love cars. Ugandans love two things: education, entertainment. I'm a banker. I know the defaulters. Education, entertainment. A Ugandan will starve to make sure his kids go to school. Okay? So, money in education, whatever level, you will make money. Private universities, daycare, kindercare, you will make money. Okay? Now, entertainment. Entertainment is driven by what? Food. People want to party. Those of you who drink, how do you get over your hangover? You eat. Food means agriculture. So people consume. So I'm happy when I hear about vanilla. I hear about coffee. I hear about all these products. That is where the money is. Now, better healthcare, there are gaps there. Fill those. You will make money. We have added a few products around insurance, because now banks can do bank assurance. So in all my partner banks can do the same thing. So all those things you're worried about, final insurance in case you pass away, sending medical insurance for your elderly people, family, the banks can support you do that. We have systems and processes. Lastly, I suppose the biggest worry is about remittances. My money must get where it's supposed to go safely, be it into a phone or a bank account. Now, Equity, for example, has about 13 money transfer companies. And I think the most recent one is Remitly. Money ends up in your bank account. So we do Remitly, and it's in the book somewhere. So it's safe. I mean, we were doing HomeSend, we were doing Wave, TerraPay, everybody. Ultimately, what are we here to tell you? One, there's opportunity. Others are seeing it and taking advantage of it. Please join us. Two, your money is safe. System-wise, you can transfer money digitally. Don't look for a branch. The banking isn't somewhere you go, it is something you do. So most of the banks, Equity especially, very strong in digital banking. And it's secure and safe. As safe as it is here, if not safer. I keep saying our security systems are the same ones used by the Pentagon and the Mossad. Because we are moving billions of dollars. So if we are trusted, if you look at one of our shareholders is IFC, the World Bank. Other shareholders, Rabobank, big names, big partners like MasterCard, Visa. So to play in that space, you must be secure. Lastly, the freebie and goodie for you. I brought this especially for you and those who will be in the lobby. You can open accounts instantly out there at our booth, and all things going well, you will walk away not only with the account number, but with a Visa debit card. So you can open your accounts and you will walk away with your card. That's transactional capability straight away. Online is straightforward. You'll get give us your email address, give us your phone number. If you have a passport and or national ID, done. So again, technology. So As I conclude, because I was given about 7 or 8 minutes, I plead with the diaspora. Please, one of our neighboring countries, 5 years ago, they were doing 1.8 billion in diaspora remittances. Uganda at that time was doing about 1.4. So remittance per capita, Uganda was better. Now, that same country is doing $4 billion remittance. Uganda is still at 1 point. We're still where we were. In fact, we're going a bit lower. Yet, we all went through the same COVID. We all went through the same challenges. Why can't we build the country? You are exposed, you have the ideas, you have the technology. We're making sure we do things smart using ESG standards. So yes, as bankers, we're here to tell you money is not the issue. The issue is ideas, implementation, execution, commitment, discipline, etc. And we'll help you do that. Thank you very much.
The highlight of this year's UNAA Convention and Trade Expo in Dallas is an insightful presentation by the Managing Director of Equity Bank, Mr. Anton Kituka, talking about banking back home.
Thank you, Anthony, for that great presentation. The world has become a global village. I'll point out one bank that's not an indigenous bank here in the US. But when you work with them to do things here in the US, they're gonna do it where? Starting from, let's say, buying a house, they're gonna do that, and that is HSBC Bank. So if Equity placed your worth 14 billion, can Equity finance a house here? You can?
I think we're already doing that, and just that reminds me, yes, we have about 20 bank agents already in country, and any of us can tell you, yes, we are financing property in the US. The key thing ultimately is just to give us evidence of your cash flows. It's your salary, it's your business flows, and so on. I think we have actually already financed quite a number of properties here already.
So you go through the normal processes of Social Security, get all those details, credit checking, you report to credit bureaus here.
The thing is, the lending is not, we're lending you money from Uganda into this, so we don't have to go through the processes here. The key thing is, just show me you have regular income. For example, yes, we need your social security number to know you are registered, you're legitimate. But the money I'm lending is from Uganda, so I'm more concerned about my own local processes, and you're able to pay us back. So once we have assessed that, and we are confident, account is open, we see cash flows, out goes the money. I'm seeing pressure from Brenda wants to speak. At least let Brenda. Brenda wants to rebut.
She will ask the question. I've been given the opportunity to put you guys, hold your feet to the fire. Can I ask Equity, can I ask Post Bank to just come and stand with me? Come and stand with me. And can I ask Housing Finance to come and stand with me also? We're going to be fair. We're going to make sure that every question is asked to each bank. Let me tell you why this is important. As has been said by all three banks, you all have a different clientele, a different focus. And so you offer diasporans a different product. Now, last year I decided I was going to shock you, and I sat you up there, and I said, I have $20,000. What can you do for me? And I went from bank to bank. Centenary, Equity wasn't here, Post Bank. And everyone said, if you give me $20,000, I'll give you so much percent, so much percent, so much percent. That way, the diasporans could compare and say, okay, I like what Post Bank just said. I like what Equity just said. I like what so and so did. And I will work
Let me tell you what happened from that. As a result of that, and the fact that I had a previous relationship with housing finance, I passed a quota of $1 million to housing finance. As of last year.
Yo TV channels app kateli anti app nyamwemu otuuke mu nsi y'okunyumirwa. Selectinga Yo TV channels or streaming live radio. Andike butandisi nga bw'onyumirwa ebinna Uganda. Olingo extra usupporting music wa Uganda ne comedy. Kyokka ku muto abaana bakunyumirwanga n'okuyiga olw'akatuni ow'omulembe abaako ate nga yiga. Downloading app ya Yo TV channels leero.
Hello, my name is Anthony Chituka, Managing Director of Equity Bank Uganda. And I'm excited to announce that Equity Bank will be back in the flesh, physically, at UNAA, 1st and 4th of September. We look forward to meeting all of you at the Trade and Investment Forum to discuss the various products and channels that Equity Bank has around investment, around vehicles, around agriculture.
Why is it that? Have you tried to bring trust within the people? Now, for me, you're not going to preach me about trust and the sensitization part of it. I can access it really well. But what is your target with the locals? Have you done your part on that? Now, again, one last thing is, that's not even like, okay, those are two questions. But this time, I did not hear any of you guys tell us about how we can save with your banks. I'm not trying to borrow money from you guys, but what if I wanted to save my money? Right here in the US, the bank that I use, I have my 100,000 that's sitting in the bank. I get 0% back on my money. Now, you do not talk about savings. Do you think that's a channel that you guys can actually also talk to us about saving our money in Uganda and getting a certain percentage back? Thank you.
Let's do this. Mr. Moderator only gave me a few minutes for these questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to pick the question you want to answer that best reflects or best markets your bank. You don't have to answer all three. Just see where your strengths are and come back with your strengths. Okay. Go and ask your question. And then I think that might be the only questions I can take.
Okay. Mine is a personal one, and this is for equity. My name is Caroline Olok, and I live in Atlanta, but of course I'm from Uganda, northern Uganda. So what happened is I went to Gulu, I opened my bank account. I went and opened a business in Gulu. Okay, I have a little shop, health and beauty shop, and that's where I'm getting my 100% back all the time, because I figured it out. Take whatever products I want and make more than 100% back. But then I went to Nairobi this year, and I wanted to use my card. Evidently my card couldn't swipe. So they told me I could not get another card, and yet there was an Equity Bank right in Nairobi where I was. They said I'd have to go back to Uganda. I don't have time to go back to Uganda to get another bank card. So please look into that so you can make it accessible. So if I'm in Tanzania, if I'm in Kenya, I'm able to get a card in case I lose my card or not able to use my card. Thank you.
Now, that particular question was specific to equity, so you can take that offline, unfortunately, unless you want to answer it. But what I'm doing is giving you the opportunity to give your best, to make your bank's position. And I was given very little time. So I really cannot take additional questions. Of the questions that have been asked, but this man is from my own village. Okay, here. My own village of Los Angeles. So.
Yeah, that was a smart choice you made. Otherwise, we're going to expel him from the village. Okay, good afternoon. I'm George Kakaire. I am from LA. I have a quick question, and this question is to all of you. Earlier this morning, in the tech forum, we were able to see a couple of startups that are products that are technology driven. I am one of those that are serial entrepreneurs, and this is to all of you. I have an education, an ed tech platform startup that is targeting every child in Uganda. As you see, the outcome of the COVID crisis set back all kids almost 2 years. And up to now, we have no national strategic solution. So over the last 7 years, I've been building a product. It's a platform for EdTech, period. We're looking for an investment of $2.5 million to invest in our children from P1 to S6. And as you have said correctly, one of the most critical budgetary expenses of any family in Uganda is education. It is one of the highest priorities according to research. So, which one of you is ready to take this on?
Okay, that's... What we're going to do is give you the opportunity to really put your foot forward. Pick from the questions. You can see where the interest is. Pick from the questions. You can answer 1, 2, 3. Just pick. Just give your bank's best thing at this particular time. Ladies first. Okay.
These gentlemen are setting me up. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for the questions and ideas. I'm going to speak to the products. One of them that you talked about, savings. Yes, we do have savings accounts, and I believe my fellow bankers will talk about it. And they are different depending on what you want. You can save on an ordinary savings account, or you can even fix your money. We have the fixed deposit accounts where you can fix for a specific period of time. For us, we have fixed deposits that go up to 5 years. So you can fix your money for 6 months, for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years, for 5 years when you're earning interest. And I also talked about treasury bonds and bills where you can invest through commercial banks like housing finance.
Yo TV channels app kateli big and better. Anti app nyamwemu otuke munsi y'okunyumirwa. Selecting o streaming live radio ne TV. Oba Kibanda Express katandike butandisi nga bw'onyumirwa ebinna Uganda. Ku Bolingo Extra supporting music wa Uganda ne comedy. Kyokka ku muto abaana bakunyumirwanga n'okuyiga olw'akatuni ow'omulembe abaako ate Yo TV kateli big and better. Anti app nyamwemu otuke munsi y'okunyumirwa. Selecting Yo TV channels o streaming live radio ne TV. Oba Kibanda Express katandike butandisi. Bolingo Extra supporting music ne comedy. Kyokka ku muto abaana bakunyumirwanga n'okuyiga olw'akatuni ow'omulembe abaako ate ng'ayigiriza. Downloading app ya Yo TV channels leero.
Every day, over 15 million members are transforming Africa. Every day, over 15 million members are transforming Africa. To learn, to create, to grow, to harvest, to lead, to dream. Equity. Karibu member.
Yo TV channels app kateli big and better. Anti app nyamwemu otuke munsi y'okunyumirwa. Selecting Yo TV channels or streaming.
This is Diaspora TV, your #1 global network.
Yo app nyamwemu otuke munsi y'okunyumirwa. Selecting Yo TV channels or streaming live radio net TV. Oba Kibanda Express katandike butandisi nga bw'onyumirwa ebinna Uganda. Ate ku Bolingo Extra supporting music wa Uganda ne comedy. Kyokka ku muto abaana bakunyumirwanga n'okuyiga olw'akatuni ow'omulembe abaako ate ng'ayigiriza. Downloading app ya Yo TV channels leero.
Highlight of this year's UNAA Convention and Trade Expo in Dallas is an insightful presentation by the Managing Director of Equity Bank, Mr. Anton Kituka, talking about banking back home, the opportunities and the rewards you don't want to miss. Equity is proud to be associated with this year's convention. It's all happening at the Investment Forum session. Come, learn about banking and investment back home and how Equity can support you. Be sure to carry your passport and driving permit or utility bill to open your Diaspora account. No minimum balance required. We have a lot to offer. Equity is back. See you there. Equity Bank is regulated by the Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda up to 10 million shillings. The highlight of